What up, dudes? And sorry to take all your time with this, but it is going to be a long video, and I try to freestyle these the whole time, and sometimes when you just have a mic in your face in a quiet room, it can be a little difficult to answer and get all the information that I wanted to get out, so I'll try to do the best take that I can do here. So, before we get started with that, I just want to say Grease, Nomad, all you bros on Patreon, and, you know, the sponsors, the viewers, donations, all this crap that's been happening, dudes, like, you don't have to do all that, and I just want to say thank you, but a better word if I can think of one, but I really appreciate it. Let's jump into this video, and I'm going to tell you what happens when I use riskrunner and the things that I do not like about it that I think are common problems for a lot of people, whether they want to admit it or not. But first, let's talk about what the gun is being used as. So what people are doing is they're throwing an arc grenade down at their feet, and what it does is it'll proc the conduction where you don't have to reload the gun, and it keeps chaining like kills, you know, damage to other people, basically to kill them. And it'll do a lot. It'll slay some ads. I'm not gonna say it's never gonna have shining moments, because the gun definitely will. The thing is that it hurts your great build, which is better than that gun altogether, such as Taken armaments. So when you get a grenade kill on a Taken, you're guaranteed heavy ammo on the first kill, and if you get multi-kills, you can get multiple heavy drops. So right here you'll see me get 4 rockets, which is super amazing on a boss fight. Now let's take a look at what combat looks like when you don't have riskrunner procced. Say you don't have any grenades, you jump into the middle of a new wave, and this is all you really got left. And this situation will happen more than you think that it will. It will happen. You're going to have to waste grenades on other ads to survive and things like that, and it's not always going to be there for you. And combat turns into a boring, slow-mo game, it feels like. These guys would already be knocked down if I had a fusion rifle on or my trackless waist. It would have been just over already, but the reload just slows the area down so much. When you can just throw your grenade up there, walk up in there with a fusion, melt them all down, get multi-kills with your fusion rifle, use your build, because your build is way, like I said, way more important than the gun itself. And when the gun isn't procced, it really sucks more than the gun is cool. So look at my super meter right now. Watch that stuff climb up and how quick those ads are just diminished. You know what I mean? Without having to proc and use my grenade or anything. Here's another situation, but then I get the conductor to proc, and this is another shining moment that'll happen, which is really amazing. It'll melt red bars like every other gun will, pretty much. Maybe a little bit quicker, but when you get stopped on those orange bars, that's where it really kind of hurts you. And you could have just been using your grenade and stuff to proc your subclass abilities, and if you're using Crown of Tempest on a Warlock, that definitely helps it out more than what the gun will help you out, because charging in with a grenade kill is always going to be faster than having to take the time to proc that weapon and start killing with it. There's way faster killing tactics, such as using your melee abilities, your grenade abilities, your fusion rifle, your primary, your super, things like that. Building up quicker are better than wasting your grenade to proc that weapon. And the only time that it is cool, like I said, is that 50% of the time when it is going to be proc, maybe even 70% of the time. But the fact that it does have 30% of the time that you're going to be without it being procced and have to slow down your gameplay, it's really going to hurt you there. Supers are always going to clear ads faster, and you can get a super every 2 waves with the build that I have on. And I can sweep kill and have a lot of fun with a fusion rifle and get range out of them as well, with not having to slow down or wait on the conduction to proc or whatever. I'm never in any dangerous situation when I have ammo for this or for my trackless waist. But since there is percentage of the riskrunner not being procced and slowing me down, that's a higher chance of getting killed or getting in dumb situations that I would never have been in had I just used my fighting tactics, using my grenades, my melees, then my weapons on top of that, using my abilities to recharge my perks by using the Crown of Tempest, using the Taken armaments to get heavy ammo. All that stuff is way better than what will happen when you're out of the conduction with the riskrunner, you know what I mean? So riskrunner, out of the 12 games that I played it was a 85 to 100 kill game almost every game that I did, and there were a lot of situations like this where it was just basically slowed down and I was, you know, shit in a river or whatever you want to call it. But that's my take on riskrunner and why I don't use it and why I get higher kill numbers with the build that I have on. Now let's move on to Huckleberry and take a look at it. The old Huck. The only problem with the Huckleberry is the masterwork for it should have been to totally make it a new fucking gun, because this gun is so inaccurate. The air accuracy sucks. I know that it has a catalyst where you can get 45 rounds, and when you're up close and proccing it, yes, it is cool, but the thing is just so inaccurate, and when you do have to reload it, the reload is probably slower than the risk runner reload, and you get caught up on those, especially when you're trying to constantly run and gun. When I have Trackless Waste, I have Grave Robber, I have Kill Clip. Those are way more important to me than getting caught up with the slow reload. And like I said about the risk runner, since there is a percentage that I will get caught up on that ridiculously slow reload, I don't use it for that reason alone. When I can just melt people down with the Trackless Waste or with the fusion rifle, I have more agility with my fusion rifle, I have more agility with my Trackless Waste, the air accuracy is awesome, and then on top of that, I have my grenade abilities charging everything, melee kills, melee even hits, charging my super when I have a charged one because of the subclass perks. There's just so many better fighting tactics than relying on Huckleberry or relying on the risk runner than just stand back and just try to make these guns work.
Portal's ready. Grab your gun. Your allies invading.
That's really the best that I can answer why I don't use Risk Runner and Huckleberry. And I feel like that when people get to maybe another level of where you're just constantly running and gunning and you're tired of stopping and slowing down and having to reload or wait on your gun to be able to be procced or whatever, I think when you get to that level of Destiny, you're going to see what I mean and how the game turns extremely boring when you can't run and gun anymore. And that happens when you use those guns, and that's just really what it is, man. Like, I can get super so quick, I can sweep shots, get range kills, get more powerful damage out with my fusion, and more powerful damage out with the kill clip of my Trackless Waste, which always procs. And, you know, supers and grenades all the time with this build as well, which, yes, would help the Risk Runner as well. But like I said, it's that small percentage. I got to reload Risk Runner. Those situations definitely will be happening. And I get faster kills, honestly, with my grenades and with my melees and with just charging in and proccing my Grave Robber over and over and running into people. When you're trying to help your team and get your team to a boss fast, it's better that the whole team has a great build on instead of a bunch of people running around with Risk Runner because they heard on the internet somewhere that it was the best thing in the game because somebody had a high sub count, so it must be the truth, right? Here's a perfect example of the range a fusion will give you. The melee, charging a little bit soup. Would have also reloaded Trackless Waste. I have more agility where I can jump and shoot. Now I get my induction tines going. Like, there's all kinds of situations where you're not always going to be able to just waste your grenade to proc a Risk Runner, or where you just can't sit around and wait on the reload from a Huckleberry. So that's basically the best I can give you, bros. So hopefully you enjoyed this. You can watch me melt this Primeval real fast with this fusion rifle now. And I will catch y'all next time in Space Bros 2019 edition.
Sometimes I forget who kills a god.